Welcome to another episode of Every Day is Friday. Today we're going to talk about something really, really important, and that is to be so crazy they can't tell you no. That's the game plan. No matter what it is that we're going to do, whatever we're going to pursue, we've got to make sure that we are crazy. We've got to be a different level of crazy. And I'm going to give you a couple examples today from my mentor, from my man, Nick Lavery. So today we're going to talk about being so crazy that nobody can tell you no, and it's something that's so important to the goals and the standards at which you set. It is set here so that you can accomplish the big ass goals that you've got that laid before you. So that you can be so crazy that nobody tells you that you can't do it. Why? Because your belief is so strong. Your conviction is so strong. Your attitudes, your actions are so strong that nobody can tell you no. Let me give you two examples. The very first one here is my man Nick Lavery, Objective Secure, Green Beret, 3-time Purple Heart. He's over here fighting across the globe, right? And insider attack, green on blue, happens. And the guy gets on a belt-fed machine gun. And he starts firing at Nick's teammates. Inside the compound, where it's supposed to be safe. And Nick ends up losing his leg. He ends up getting shot up. He does all that he can. He places 2 tourniquets. Another teammate places another tourniquet. Nick's out of blood by the time he gets put on the table. Out of blood. There's no oxygenation inside of his body, and they have no idea, A, how he's alive, and B, how he can function. I saw a picture of him like this. He's got a nurse on this side. He's got another guy on this side, and he's still curling them with no blood, no oxygen. It's crazy. It's baffling. That's not the crazy part. They end up giving Nick the wrong blood. So he's crashing, and they don't know what's going to happen. But they know they're at their base, they can no longer do what needs to be done in order for Nick to succeed, to live. So they get him on a bird, and they take him off, and then is when they realize that they gave him the wrong blood. So what happens here, they give him the wrong blood, and the medic crew, the guys that are on the bird, which I find out is a 17-year-old kid. 15 seconds after, being sworn in, he's on the bird. Then he's got another 25-year-old guy who's the senior medic for this 2-man crew on the bird. So they're pretty young. And Nick's crashing. So he's on the bird going, and it's about 12 minutes. And what happens here is the crazy part. You see, they realize that Nick was pumped with the wrong blood type over the radio. The base sends it to the bird, says call it in, and then they call it into the base where they're flying to, and they say, hey, he was pumped with the wrong blood. We're gonna have to prepare for his lifeless body. Right? Pretty tough thing to hear. The medic crew could go, dude, all right, they did it. They messed up. They effed up. Now it's time. We might as well just sit back. Or the medic crew could be so crazy. They could be so crazy and go, you know what? We're not letting this Green Beret lose his life today. So they did some things we're not going to discuss too in depth because we don't want them getting in trouble. Well, let's just say they did some things that might be past legal. You see, they were so crazy that they did whatever it took to keep Nick alive. Now, Nick apparently crashed a couple times, so he coded. He's dead. They used paddles. They used adrenaline. They used those things to hopefully get that blood, even though it's the wrong blood type, just enough to carry the nutrients needed to the body so that it could just survive long enough. Wrong blood, but it can still be effective. So they were so crazy because guess what? You could be court-martialed for putting it in the wrong, like doing what they did. You could get in some serious trouble by the upper levels, up the chain of command, because you did something that you weren't supposed to do in order to save a life. They were so crazy that it became successful. They were so crazy. You see, success requires crazy. Success requires, hey, guess what? All these thoughts are, no way can this happen, but I'll prove them wrong. I'll show them that it can happen. How? My actions. I show them. I do it day in, day out. Piece number 2 comes from Nick himself. So crazy. He's in the hospital bed 4 or 5 days after this happens, and guess what? The doc's like, dude, there's no way that you're going to go back in. Nick, so crazy that he tells them, I don't want that. That doesn't exist in my life. That doesn't exist in my mindset. I am going back to my team. Nick set up a personal gym on his bed. He's got rubber bands. He's got all these things on his bed that he can get his curls in. He can get his shoulder press in. He can work on moving his core up so that he's closer to be able to do things. So now he worked on this, and it was so hard at the beginning, but it got easier. And now he can sit up pretty easily. He was so dead set on, I'm getting back to my team. That's my success. That's my mission. No matter what, I'm going to it. And I'm going to be so focused on being able to do it. How do I roll over? What's that going to take for me to do it? Where am I at now? How do I practice this portion of getting better and stronger so that I can move forward, so that I can move to the next piece? You've got to be so crazy. So crazy. Everything that is so difficult for people to pass Green Beret and the Q course qualification to be a special forces. Everything that has to happen there, as a two-legged person, he had to redo. He had to redo. That takes a different level of crazy. What if they told you, hey, guess what, coach? 30 years, 20 years, 10 years. You're 10 years in, coach. You're going to have to start back at the bottom. Varsity basketball coach, stud coach, won a state championship. Elite of the elite high school coaches. And they said, coach, guess what? You're going to have to go back to elementary school basketball. And you're going to have to work your way all the way back up. What would that do to you? What would you say to that? Would you be so crazy that you would say, nothing's going to stop me? It ain't going to happen. I'm going to get back to that level. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be successful, to be the best, to be at the level I believe I want to be. It's going to take a level of crazy. Now, there's all sorts of different examples that we can use for crazy. There's Disney, there's Starbucks, there's the Lord of the Rings. There's Spanx. There's 4 companies. There's 50 companies that truly believed in their product, their CEO, their dreamer, their visionary, that believed in the product so much that they had to go to that level of crazy in order to do it. They had to get rejected 216 times. How many rejections is it going to take you to get where you want to go in that job? How many iterations of your product, of your masterpiece, is it going to take for you to get where you want to go? Because I guarantee you it's not 1, and it's not 2, and it's not 3. How many days is it going to take for you to get to the level of fitness that you want to get? You want to drop 15 pounds. You got 60 days? Do you have 60 days? Well, I hope so, because that's what it's going to take. It's not something that's just going to come easy. It's going to take this level of crazy in order for you to move forward. So I'm encouraging you. I'm speaking this into you to be so crazy that they can't tell you no. Maybe you weren't very good in basketball at the high school level. Great. But you want to be a college coach. What's that going to take? What steps are needed for you now to take now so that it moves you forward? What could help? You've got this product. You're ready to launch it. What's it going to take for you to move to the next step, not to the dream? You can't catch that yet. But to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next, and then the next step. Ladies and gentlemen, climbing a mountain is the same thing. It takes a level of crazy. Why? Because you feel like it's never gonna happen. You are never gonna get to that top. Why? Because you keep switchbacking back and forth. And God bless, I still can't see it. You mean I gotta go over a ridge? Where I've got the wind coming on both sides? Where I've got cliffs on one side and cliff on the other? Takes a level of crazy. It takes this level of crazy that you've got to do so that you can be who you were born to be, who you were created to be. Every single example of our past dreamers, of our biggest aspirations, of our dream, of our idols, people we look up to. I don't like saying idols, but every single person in the past and currently has had to go through a level of crazy. They had to keep going. They had to do it again and do it again and do it again and do it again. Adapt. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Adapt. Try something new. Do it again. Be so crazy. Be so crazy that nobody can tell you no. Because no matter what, they can't dictate what you can do. It's just you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please click like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Share it. There's people who need to know that they need to be crazy so that they can be successful. Be so crazy that nobody can tell you no. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless, and go be crazy.